Hi everyone, I'm Nicole Hemrick and I'm the managing partner at Hemrick O'Malley PLLC. Today I want to give you some tips and tricks to speed up your immigration case. Everybody knows USCIS can take a very long time on a lot of cases. This can be very frustrating. It can keep you from moving forward with certain aspects of your life or sometimes traveling when it might be necessary. So what are these tips? Number one, if your case is eligible for premium processing, use the premium processing. If you search I-907, you will see the form and you will see the types of cases that are eligible for premium processing. You can file the I-907 either simultaneously with your case or once you have a receipt notice, upgrade to premium processing by filing the I-907. Next tip. When you're filing a case, make sure you take a look at the checklist of initial documents that USCIS posts on its website. If you do not give all of the required initial documents, you will most certainly receive something called a request for evidence or notice of intent to deny. And when you get that kind of stops the clock on your case. You're going to have to review it. You're going to have to supply USCIS with the information. And then it starts again with the time. So do what you can to avoid this. That's not to say that if you've given everything in the kitchen sink that USCIS still can't come back and issue a request for evidence. They very well may, and they often do. But if you at least have done your part to provide everything that you can at the outset, you can potentially avoid an RFE or notice of intent to deny. Third, you could do a service request, also called an e-request. If you Google e-request, you will see a page for USCIS where you can enter your information on the case type, and then USCIS is supposed to respond within a certain period of time, giving you information on your case. This brings attention to your case. Now, one thing about this, USCIS won't take any request if your case is within the standard processing times. So you'll first want to Google processing times or be at the uscis.gov website and look up processing times there. And you will see by case type what the average timeline is for case completion. So if your case is beyond that average time, you can go ahead and do that e-request. Another tip. You could do a congressional inquiry. That means that you go to your representative or senator's office and you fill out a form about your case, give them authorization to discuss your case with USCIS, and then one of their staff persons will place an inquiry for you. This is often more effective than the e-request. Sometimes on the e-request, USCIS flatly ignores it and doesn't even respond. That's not to say you shouldn't try. You absolutely should try because sometimes it does help. But the congressional request will result in some sort of answer. Whether you like the answer or not, it very well might be you have to keep waiting, but at least you will hear something and it does bring attention to your case, which is what you want. Another option, there's an expedite request. So go to USCIS, Google expedite request. They have criteria for what the qualifications are to grant an expedite request. So you're going to want to follow that criteria and explain why your case falls into one or more of such criteria and provide documentation to prove that your case falls within that criteria. This is something that can be done even before you're at the end of the processing time. We've done this with several cases successfully. Finally, you could do a writ of mandamus. Now, my partner, Allison Gross, and I have both separately discussed writs of mandamus in prior videos. This is a great tool. It is also one that you're going to want to wait until you're beyond the processing time, because one of the main criteria for qualifying for writ of mandamus is that USCIS has failed to act on a mandatory duty. The mandatory duty being adjudicating your case. So if you're still within the processing time, there's no evidence that they've neglected their mandatory duty. Additionally, some of these other tips that we've discussed, meaning the service requests, going to a congressional liaison, that could wind up being proof for you in your writ of mandamus if you wind up doing that, showing that you've done your due diligence. You've done every other thing that you can to try to bring resolution amicably to your case without suing. And this is essentially your last resort. If you have questions about any of these tips and tricks or any other immigration matter, give us a call at 833-848-7838 or check us out online at www.hemrick.law.